please, a round of applause. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, to deliver his address. And just a quick reminder that after his address, there will be photo sessions. So please, a round of applause. Let's rise as we welcome His Excellency, the Vice President.
Kindly take your seats, please, kindly. Your Excellency Joseph Nyuma Boakai, President of Liberia, the Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, Americo Oliveira de Ramos, the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Nadine Rangolam, our Chief Host, Onwandi Igbo Senator Hope Odidika Uzodimma, and his beautiful wife, Barrister Chioma Uzodimma. Excellencies, our governors of Ondo, of Ekiti, of Edo, and of course of Yobe states. The former Prime Minister of the UK, the mercurial Boris Johnson. His biographer, Noma Puriel, described that his hair has become his signature force. He is using it to disarm the public. But he is actually a very focused and watchful gentleman, an extremely brilliant person who went to some of the best schools in the UK. Amina Gurib Hakim, former President of Mauritius, the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who has done so much for Africa. Thank you so much. You masterminded the appointment of our sister Amina Mohammed. You introduced her to the global stage, and she subsequently became the UN Deputy Secretary General. The national chairman of our great party, Professor Nintawe Goshua Yilwada, and his immediate predecessor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and the leadership of the party, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Lady Chinyere Ekomaru, and her husband, my very good friend, Barrister Chukuma Ekomaru, SAN. I crave your indulgence, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to weaponize Senator Osita Izunaso and Senator Jarike, Honorable Professor Julius Eombare, the leader of the House, and the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, to recognize and appreciate all members of the National Assembly and Imo State House of Assembly present here. I also wish to use the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, and the Secretary of the Imo State Government, Chief Cosmos Iwu, as my points of reference to recognize and appreciate my colleagues in the Federal Executive Council and members of the Imo State Executive Council, the Acting Chief Judge of Imo State, and I would like to use the Oni of Ife, His Majesty Obade Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, the Chairman of Imo State and Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness Eze Dr. Isi Okeke CFR, and the Esunupe Alhaji Dr. Yahaya Abubakar CFR, to recognize and appreciate all our eminent traditional rulers present here. The Archbishop of the Anglican Communion, Archbishop David Onoha, the Catholic Bishop of Olu, Bishop Augustine Okwoma, the President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Uzoesi, and all members of the clergy. Professor Ben Orama is absent, but I wish to acknowledge, and all the leading lights of the technocracy and the business community. Olusegun Alebiosu is my point of reference. He is the MD of Pace Bank, to recognize and appreciate all our chieftains in the banking industry. distinguished Imo leaders, stakeholders, and dignitaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The last time I was in Owerri for the plaque-up of the 2025 Hajj exercise, I described him as the goalkeeper, defender, the midfielder, and vicious attacker in the mold of Victor Osimhen of the APC. Little wonder that Mr. President has appointed Governor Hope Uzodimma, the hope of the nation, as the #1 ambassador of the renewed hope agenda. And today, like the man of many parts and capacities that he exemplifies, he has, as a luminary, economic strategist, transformational leader, sage, and visionary governor, gathered us in this beautiful southeastern state of Imo for the Imo State Economic Summit. Governor Hope Odidika Uzodimma, I doff my hat for you. Nations do not rise because one of the corner of the map ascends, while others remain dormant. Nations rise when every part of it discovers its promise, nurtures its strength, and takes responsibility for its own economic direction. This is the spirit that has animated the economic summits taking place across the country. It is the conviction that each state holds a piece of the puzzle that completes the grand picture of our national development. This is why I'm genuinely excited to share this moment with you today. The promise of Imo State's prospects and potentials are unmistakable, and the opportunities ahead should command our collective attention. There is no greater accelerator of national growth than the deliberate effort to steer each state towards its areas of absolute and comparative advantage. We have all come to terms with the fact that it is not enough for states to seek alignment with national aspirations for sustainable growth and global competitiveness, unless it is matched with ambition. It must be complemented by opportunities that speak for themselves. This is the significance of our theme today, unlocking Imo's economic potential, partnership, investment, and innovation. It invites us to prepare for better days ahead. It reminds us that this summit arrives at the most strategic moment when His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has introduced far-reaching reforms designed to ensure long-term stability for businesses and to anchor prosperity that endures across generations. The promise of Imo State is, I must emphasize, should be the promise of abundance. Even without stretching our imagination, we can see tremendous opportunities in high-growth sectors waiting to be explored. We see strategic use of pre-trade zones and special agro-processing zones to accelerate value creation. We see expanded gas utilization to power industries and households and to guarantee affordability and reliability. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, across Imo State, we also see the development of digital infrastructure that attracts ICT firms and fuels a modern information-driven economy. We see access to financing opportunities through institutions such as the Bank of Industry, the Development Bank of Nigeria, and our banks in the sector, along with the structured private-public partnerships in housing, transport, and renewable energy. All these possibilities converge to remind us that Imo is not just ready for investment. Imo is prime for transformation. The federal government stands ready to support Imo State in these investment areas. Our role is to work with you to unlock opportunities, to de-risk promising ventures, and to ensure that the benefits of development are felt across communities. To our investors here today, the message is unmistakable. Imo is open for business. Nigeria is open for business. And this government stands as your partner in progress. The world has moved beyond economies that depend solely on natural resources. The most competitive nations today are those that invest in technology, cultivate talent, and place innovation at the center of their development agenda. Imo State must position innovation as a core pillar of its growth strategy, whether in digital entrepreneurship, renewable energy solutions, smart agriculture, precision manufacturing, or the creative economy. Innovation will define the next chapter of economic expansion. The federal government is already implementing programs that empower young innovators, expand digital skills training, support tech clusters and innovation hubs, promote STEM education and foster research and development through partnerships with universities. The young people of Imo are creative, ambitious, and connected to the global knowledge economy. One gentleman, one of the anchors earlier described the Igbos as the Nigerian Jews. That credit goes to the late Ali Al-Amin Masri. In his BBC program, The Triple Heritage, he mentioned that the Igbos are the Nigerian Jews, geographically mobile, economically enterprising, and educationally ambitious. The Igbo nation is an outlier nation, and the Nigerian nation is better within the Igbo as part of that dispensation. Our duty as a government and as a people is to give them the tools, the platforms, and the confidence to construct the future that awaits them. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I dare say that Igbo are the greatest stakeholders in the Nigeria project. Half of Abuja is owned by Igbo. Half of the population of Lagos is largely made up from Igbo. There is hardly any place in this country, if you don't see an Igbo man, you better run away from that place. If you don't see a Hausa man, you better run away from that place, because they go where opportunities abound. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to appeal to our leaders to come and invest in this country, in Imo, and in all parts of the Federation, because this is a nation waiting to unleash its full potentials. As rightly captured by the former president of Mauritius, 1 out of every 4 black men is a Nigerian. And by 2050, we will surpass the United States. Nigeria will be the 3rd most populous nation on earth with a population of 440 million people. And by the end of the century, when all of us here must have become poor tenants in the home of the earthworms, Nigeria will be the most populous nation on earth. So I'm proud to call myself a Nigerian. The average age of the Nigerian nation is 16.9. And the trajectory of global growth is facing Africa. And I dare say that Nigeria will make or mar that transition. The Asian tigers are aging. The former UN Secretary General is 81 years old, and probably he will live for the next 35 years. Taiwan, Korea, China, Malaysia, Singapore, they are all aging. But Africa is a young continent. India in 2024 earned over $100 million, $100 billion from process outsourcing alone. And according to Conteri, a global finance outfit, by 2035, there will be 65 million global talent deficits. The United States, Russia, and Brazil will each suffer from 6 million talent deficits. And there are more English speakers in Nigeria than in India. And with all modesty, the Nigerian variety of English, our own variant of English, is much more better than the Indian own. Your Excellency, you can testify to that. I believe you listen to Niger music. So, I'm not afraid of tomorrow. I'm very confident that with the caliber of leadership we have here, he's building a digital city here in Imo, and all our governors seated here. I was a governor for 8 years. I dare say that in the current democratic dispensation in this country, we have never had a set of governors that are in tune with the needs of the people, that there is pure pressure for them to excel, and that they know their onions better than the present crop of governors. I can mention the accomplishment of each and every one of them in education, in healthcare, in industry, even in the area of humility. Our governors of yesteryears have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, as if the world was created for them. But look at Monday of Ekolo. He dresses simply. Look at the governor of Ekiti State. He moves freely in his state capital. Mai Malabuni is almost a political genius. He knows politics. So, Your Excellencies, of course, my friend, you have started wearing the Niger Delta Bola hat because you are getting proceeds from oil. Loki Aiyedatiwa, Loki Orimishan Aiyedatiwa, the executive governor of Ondo State. So, Your Excellencies, Nigeria is a great nation. And we envision a Nigeria where each state contributes its best to the national enterprise. A Nigeria where prosperity flows across regions rather than concentrating in a few urban centers. Imo has an integral role in this vision. By unlocking its potential through partnership, investment and innovation, Imo can become a hub for technology, a major contributor to national GDP, a magnet for creative industries, a model of inclusive economic development, and a leading center for SMEs and industrialization. Let this summit conclude not with good ideas alone. Let it lead to commitments that matter. Let it inspire partnerships, funded projects, and measurable outcomes that uplift the lives of the people of Imo State. The true success of today's gathering will be written in the improved livelihoods of communities, in the jobs created for young graduates, and in the businesses that will take root because we came together with a shared purpose. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I reaffirm the full support of the federal government of Nigeria under the able leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to support you, Governor Hope Uzodimma, and the government and people of Imo State. We stand prepared to work with the government and people of Imo State, with local and international investors, and with every stakeholder gathered here today. We want to thank you for bringing the glitterati of the international community. President Wakai, I was there at his swearing-in ceremony, the humble and self-effacing leader. The maverick former British Prime Minister is an institution, globally respected, deliberately unkempt with his bushy hair, but he's one of the smartest people that have ever ruled Britain. The former UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, we are most grateful. The former President of Mauritius, Amina Bakib, we are most grateful. The Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, I was there at your independence anniversary. We are most grateful. And of course, all of you here, we stand with you, we adore you, we respect you, and we'll keep this partnership going. Thank you, and may God bless us all.